"8:45. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by J. Yogaraj and read by Soundithavam. The total number of COVID-19 infections confirmed in the country topped the 9,000 mark. The Deputy Director General of Health Services says the Divulapitiya cluster risk has come down sharply presently. The Army Commander says that a quarantine curfew will be imposed within the Western Province from 12 midnight tomorrow. The Examinations Department says that those who are living in quarantine curfew areas will not have any problems in facing the GCE A-level exam. The US Secretary of State Michael R. Pompeo says the US will not attempt to use debt to extort actions by the Sri Lankan government. In news overseas, Moon Jae-in pledges carbon neutrality by 2050. And in sports, the IPL match between the Royal Challengers Bangalore and the Mumbai Indians is being played at the Abu Dhabi grounds. The total number of COVID-19 infections confirmed in the country topped the 9,000 mark as 211 more persons linked to the Minuwangoda-Paliagoda clusters were tested positive for the virus this evening. The Department of Government Information said 9 of these fresh cases were detected from quarantine centres. The remaining 202 are reportedly close contacts of previously identified positive cases. The department noted that 140 of these close contacts were identified in curfew-imposed areas. Thereby, the total number of infections registered by the cluster to date reached 5,607. With the new development, Sri Lanka has now confirmed 9,081 novel coronavirus infections to date. According to statistics, 4,075 of the confirmed patients have made complete recoveries after contracting the virus. The Epidemiology Unit says 4,987 active cases are still receiving medical treatment at selected hospitals across the island. The COVID-19 death toll meanwhile went up to 19 on Tuesday the 27th as 3 infected persons, including a 19-year-old, fell victim to the virus. The Deputy Director General of Health Services, Specialist Dr. Hemantha Herath says the Divulapitiya cluster risk has come down sharply presently. The corona contracted cases in the cluster has been low for the last few hours. Effective measures have been taken to establish new quarantine centres in the area to accommodate new corona-infected cases. Dr. Hemantha Herath revealed this information at a media conference held at the Health Promotion Bureau today. Addressing the media personnel, he further said, effective steps have been taken to minimize the corona-infected cases in the respective clusters. The human resources and the manpower have been doubled in the selective health sectors to expedite the process. 7,530 persons have been placed in quarantine centres so far. Meanwhile, medical facilities have been provided to 24 centres to conduct PCR and other related tests. Army Commander Lieutenant General Shavendra Silva says that a quarantine curfew will be imposed within the Western Province from 12 midnight tomorrow. The curfew will be in effect until 5 a.m. on Monday. However, the curfew in the areas where it has already been imposed will continue even after Monday. In addition, essential food item outlets and pharmacies in the province are requested to remain open from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. tomorrow. Meanwhile, the government has launched a program to provide essential food to the people who are undergoing quarantine at their homes. They will be provided food sufficient for 14 days. The Army Commander requested the people to follow health guidelines properly as there is a higher rate of the spread of the coronavirus now. Meanwhile, Sri Lanka confirmed 211 more positive cases of COVID-19 linked to the Minuwangoda-Paliagoda cluster this evening. The Department of Government Information said 9 of these fresh cases were detected from quarantine centres. The remaining 202 are reportedly close contacts of previously identified positive cases. The department noted that 140 of those close contacts were found from the curfew-imposed areas. Thereby, the total number of infections registered by the cluster to date reached 5,607. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The U.S. Secretary of State Michael R. Pompeo says that the Millennium Challenge Cooperation Agreement is one of many opportunities offered by the United States and that it is ultimately up to Sri Lanka to choose whether to accept it. He made these comments while speaking to the local media. Secretary Pompeo held bilateral talks with President Gotabaya Rajapaksa and Foreign Minister Dinesh Gunawardena during the visit. He stated that great democracies like the ones in Sri Lanka and in the United States have a shared vision on how life ought to operate. Quote, there ought to be sovereign nations and free people who get the chance to live the lives they want, and the US is here to share that message, unquote, he said, speaking on his maiden visit to the island nation. Mr. Pompeo reiterated that the US will not attempt to use debt to extort actions by the Sri Lankan government. Ratana Sutra is being chanted from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. at all temples in the country. It has been organized by the Ministry of Cultural and Religious Affairs and the Department of Buddhist Affairs led by the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Reciting of Ratana Sutra will take place to minimize the impact of the coronavirus and other problems which have an influence on civilian life. The SLBC, Ministry of Religious Affairs and the Department of Buddhist Affairs request all chief monks of the temples to relay the Ratana Sutra using loudspeakers. It will conclude on Bap Full Moon Poa Day, which falls this coming Friday. The Bank of Ceylon, National Lotteries Board, Development Lotteries Board, Amrita of Dali Butler are supporting the program. That's local news.
A mother knows the pain of each member of the family. Siddhalepa, the trusted relief for aches and pains.
An effective therapy for relief from cold, sneezing, flu, headaches, swelling due to toothaches, rheumatic, discomforts, and muscular aches and pains. Siddhalepa, the Veda Mahatmya in every home.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya.
The Examination Department Commissioner General Sanat Pujita reiterates that those who are living in quarantine curfew areas will not have any problems in facing the GCE A-level exam. Separate exam centres have been established for this purpose. Meanwhile, the police say strict action will be taken against all persons who violate quarantine regulations while being directed to self-isolate. Acting Police Media spokesperson, Deputy Inspector General of Police Ajit Rohana said those directed to self-isolate in their residences must follow the guidelines issued by the health authorities. DIG Ajit Rohana noted no outside party should enter residences where persons who have been instructed to self-isolate reside. He said several cases of violations were reported recently which had contributed to the spread of the virus. DIG Ajit Rohana therefore urges the public to follow the guidelines issued by the authorities, and that came to you in the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya. Brush your teeth twice a day for healthy teeth and gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, your trusted brands in oral care for many years.
Supiriviki Ayurvedic toothpaste for adults. Kakulu Ayurvedic toothpaste for kids. 9 Ayurvedic ingredients of Supiriviki will protect your teeth and strengthen your gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, products from Siddhalepa.
Moving on to Watchlight, the commuters complain that there are only a fewer number of buses during peak hours. The public transport is severely affected due to the prevailing situation. As a result, the daily passengers are affected. The public and private employees request the Transport Ministry, Western Province Passenger Transport Authority to look into this matter and take effective measures to remedy this situation. That came to in Watchlight. Moving on to world news in the headlines. Moon Jae-in pledges carbon neutrality by 2050. Japanese train company brings forward last train departure times as coronavirus drives down ridership. And Bihar elections, first major poll since pandemic, a test of Modi's popularity. South Korea's President Moon Jae-in says the country aims to be carbon neutral by 2050. Moon made the pledge in a budget speech to the National Assembly today. He said the country will act aggressively to deal with climate change with the international community. He expressed intent to create new industries and jobs by promoting eco-friendly infrastructure development and the use of electric vehicles with investment of about $7.1 billion in the next fiscal year. The sight of suit-clad office workers desperately scrambling to catch the last train at stations throughout Tokyo became something of a hallmark of post-war Japan. And as the economy grew, departure times got later and later. But recently, the number of the late-night commuters has dwindled, prompting one major train company to bring forward the departure times on several lines. East Japan Railway Company announced that starting in March 2021, it will bring forward the last train departure times on 17 lines, including the busy Yamanote line in Tokyo. The company says the move will affect about 20,000 people per day. More than 70 million voters are eligible to cast their ballots for 243 assembly seats in the eastern state of Bihar. Polling began on Wednesday in the first of three phases, and votes will be counted on the 10th of November. During a year when more than 60 countries postponed voting, authorities in India went ahead with polls in Bihar, which has a population comparable to Japan. To conclude this World News Bulletin, the headlines again. Moon Jae-in pledges carbon neutrality by 2050. Japanese train company brings forward last train departure times as coronavirus drives down ridership. And in the Bihar elections, first major poll since pandemic, a test of Modi's popularity. And that's World News.
Development News is brought to you by...
My wife always sets a full lunch table even if it's just the two of us. She always expects people to drop by, like maybe the army.
In whatever we do, we Sri Lankans are always thinking of others. When we get Munchie Super Cream Crackers, they're not just for ourselves. Munchie Super Cream Cracker, super kiyanne nikan neve.
Moving on to development news, the National Water Supply and Drainage Board has planned to construct 2 water purification units in the Galle district. The main objective is to solve the drinking water and other water-related problems in the district. Especially the proposed new units will supply pure water to the Karapitia town, including the Karapitia Base Hospital and Maternity Ward. That came to you in development news.
When Tati bought a new family car, it wasn't just for the 4 of us.
It's a 10-seater van. Enough for friends and relatives too.
Me insisted on building an extra room in our new house. Well, you never know who'll come to stay. We need more pillows too.
When I was studying late, Nangi would come by to help.
No, I don't know physics, but I do know you need a Munchie Super Cream Cracker.
In whatever we do, we Sri Lankans are always thinking of others.
When we get Munchie Super Cream Crackers, they're not just for ourselves.
Munchie Super Cream Cracker, super kiyanne nikan neve.
Sports News is brought to you by
Munchie Chocolate Cream Biscuit. Chocolate in every bite.
In cricket, the IPL match between the Royal Challengers Bangalore and Mumbai Indians is being played at the Abu Dhabi grounds. Mumbai Indians won the toss and elected to field first. Accordingly, RCB for 88 for 1 in 10 overs a short while ago. In athletics, the men's 100-meter world champion Christian Coleman was banned for 2 years because of 3 violations of doping control rules. Track and Field's Athletics Integrity Unit said Coleman will be banned until May 2022, forcing him to miss the Tokyo Olympics next year. The 24-year-old American sprinter had been provisionally suspended from competition since May. Weeks later, details of his 3 missed appointments with sample collections officials in 2019 were revealed. Athletes face a 2-year ban if they have 3 violations of so-called whereabouts rules in a 12-month period. That's sports news. Business news up next.
Hey guys, we've got our very own Queen Bear here to review something for us.
Okay, here we go. It's the right amount of crunch and OMG, so much chocolate. The texture is so good. It's creamy and velvety and just so much chocolate. The packaging is super cool and new and there's like so much chocolate. And OMG, the taste, it tastes like so good and there's so much chocolate. Like with every bite. 10 out of 10 for me.
Munchie Chocolate Cream Biscuit. Chocolate in every bite.
Empower your dreams with NSV Wings. NSV Wings. Reach out the high goals.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Powered by Dialog Axiata plc, Sri Lanka's premier connectivity provider Genie, Sri Lanka's first PCI GSS certified payment app, has partnered with WebExPay to further scale their reach to over 1,400 merchants to provide a simple and secure payment checkout via Genie. Dialog Axiata has been in the forefront of fintech products since 2012, and Genie has seen their efforts reach new heights in financial inclusivity. Genie has won 2 gold awards for the most popular electronic payment product fintech and Best Mobile Application for Retailer Payments at the Lanka Pay Technovation Awards 2019 and 2 awards for Best Disruptor and Best Startup Product at the Slascom Innovation Awards 2019. That's business news, economic news to follow.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
The wait is over, and it's time for you to experience happiness. It's time to remap the graph for success. It's time to rebuild your empire. It's time to initiate your entrepreneur dreams. Empower your dreams with NSB Wings. Get your 2-year personal loan for just 7% per annum, starting from 500,000 rupees to 10 million rupees. All you need is just one guarantee. NSB Wings. Recharge the high goals.
Economic news, courtesy of...
Congratulations on your promotion. When will be our treat, huh?
How about today?
Oh no, I was just joking.
It's fine. I have my LOLC credit card with me. Let's go out today.
Introducing LOLC Finance Credit Cards. Fuel the goodness in you.
The National Savings Bank NSB has enabled a cashless society with a quick response QR code banking in collaboration with Lanka QR. Globally recognized quick response QR code banking is the next step in the evolutionary journey of banking and finance institutions in this technologically advanced world, heralding the age of a cashless society. By way of the digitalization roadmap of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka, CBSL, the Ratapurama Lanka QR island-wide campaign, launched in collaboration with the member institutions, QR-based payments are fast becoming the norm in trade settlements. That's economic news.
Hello, Puta. Did you land already?
We're in transit and our flight got delayed.
How is Shani? Poor thing with her pregnancy.
Calm down, everything is sorted. Why, I have my LOLC World Card with me. We are at the VIP lounge. LOLC Finance Credit Cards. Fuel the goodness in you.
Moving on to the weather report, the Met Department says showers or thundershowers will occur at several places in the Uva, Eastern, North Central and Northwestern provinces, and in the Hambantota, Mana, Mullaitivu, Vavuniya and the Matale districts. Fairly heavy falls above 50 millimeters can be expected at some places, particularly in the Uva province and in the Ampara district. The general public is kindly requested to take adequate precautions to minimize damages caused by temporary localized strong winds and lightning during thunder showers. Showers may occur at a few places in the western and Sabaragama provinces and in the Galle and Matara districts. This weather report was published this evening at 7:30 p.m. Further details can be obtained by visiting the official website of the department. To conclude this news broadcast, a recap of the headlines. The total number of COVID-19 infections confirmed in the country topped the 9,000 mark. The Deputy Director General of Health Services says the Dulapitiya cluster risk has come down sharply presently. The Army Commander says that a quarantine curfew will be imposed within the Western Province from 12 midnight tomorrow. The Examinations Department says that those who are living in quarantine curfew areas will not have any problems in facing the GCE A-level exam. The U.S. Secretary of State Michael R. Pompeo says the U.S. will not attempt to use debt to extort actions by the Sri Lankan government. Moon Jae-in pledges carbon neutrality by 2050. The IPL match between the Royal Challengers Bangalore and the Mumbai Indians is being played at the Abu Dhabi grounds.